What's up, guys? Welcome back, man. Check it out. We're in the garage today, obviously, if you can't tell. But yeah, haven't been making a whole lot of progress on the Civic, but my goal for this weekend is to get as much done as I possibly can at the moment. So yeah, let's just get on it, man. I'll show you what we're doing. Alright, so I have not gotten my new camber kit yet. Alright, I do have one coming, so I'll be installing those later. Huge pile of rubber here. These are all the door seals that I took off when I first took the car apart. Obviously, I have them labeled for the most part. Passenger door, driver, blah blah blah. Anyhow, I'm gonna go through with a rag and maybe some alcohol or something, and I gotta clean all this, and we're gonna be putting all this on the car. I have the brake master cylinder, I have the brake booster, this stuff needs to be cleaned. I got the brake lines, most of them anyhow, the part that goes in the engine compartment. I have the pedal assembly, I have this little brace thing that goes on the interior that's gonna hold the steering wheel and yeah, whatever the hell that thing's called. That's gonna get installed. Basically I gotta clean all this shit. I'm gonna put a coat of paint on the booster and probably maybe clean these lines up and paint them or something. I don't know. I'm sure some of you guys may mention, or maybe asking yourself for that matter, we're putting so much work into this car, why aren't we doing a brake line tuck? To be honest with you, I don't want to do a brake line tuck. I'm just gonna put the factory brake lines back in. I mean, I've never done brake lines. I mean, it might be something I might do in the future, okay? I may do it in the future, but for now, safety, you know what I mean? Safety wise, I'm just gonna run the factory brake lines. All right, and I did find these bolts. I had to go through a bunch of crap in order to find them. Luckily, I marked them: X member, cross member, and traction bar. These right here are kind of the reason why I've been procrastinating on getting the front cross member put back in the car, because honestly, I had no idea what I did with the bolts. So I was to the point where I was actually going to go down to the junkyard and go grab some. But I found the ones that came off the Civic. I didn't have to go to the junkyard. So the front end of the car, this is the front sway bar. These ones are junk. All this stuff is going to go on the car. Obviously the front coils and the front upper control arms are going to go on the car. Just like the rear, I did not get the new ball joints yet, but those will be coming in soon as well. I got to build up funds, guys, you know what I mean? I'm a family guy, I got a lot of bills I have to pay. But anyhow, yeah, I want to get all the front suspension on the car, and I want to get all the rear suspension on the car. My goal is by the end of this weekend, I want to get all those door seals on. I'm gonna get all this plastic off, and I want this car to be sitting on all four wheels. Okay. Now for the front, I did end up getting the new lower ball joints, and I did end up getting the new tie rod ends. These are the outer tie rod ends. My inner tie rod ends were fairly new. The whole steering rack is actually new. So that stuff's good to go. Alright, I think out of everything that I plan on getting done this weekend, the most difficult is probably going to be the front suspension, because I do have to remount the cross member, the steering rack, and yeah, there's just a lot of little things, you know, that has to be done, torque down the spec, etc. So I'm going to start there because I like to start with the most difficult thing. But at the moment, the steering rack is still all greasy because I never did degrease that and pressure wash it when I pulled it off the car. And the cross member is covered with a lot of dust because it's been hanging out in the backyard for about a month now. So I'm gonna get that stuff cleaned up and I'll be right back. So there she is, all cleaned up. This is ready to be mounted to the cross member now, and then mounted to the car. Now I did clean up the hardware and shined up the heads. And here's the bushing for that bracket. That's all clean, got all the grease and stuff that's caked on it out. Now I will be using thread locker on my bolts. I'm gonna use thread lock on just about everything that I can, just for peace of mind. So whenever this car is all finished, I know everything is tightened down the spec. to the torque spec. Everything has thread locker on it. I know nothing's gonna fall off. So alright, well there it is, all mounted up. Hardware is all shiny. Now what I am gonna do is, I got a can of, if I find it over here, I think this is a little cheap can. Clear, transparent, yes. Alright, now what I did is I took a piece of cardboard, just a little strip, and I cut a hole in it like that. So what I can do now is put that over the bolt and just spray so that I don't have overspray going all over the place, just to keep everything else kind of looking nice. I am actually going to use the red thread lock on these bolts because there really shouldn't be any time soon that we're going to be taking this out. So alright, now what I did is I have it up here in place and I have all 4 bolts. They're just kind of started, you know what I mean? Like I spun them in about 2 turns. Now that I have it hanging there, what I'm going to do is I'll just take one out at a time and I'll put my thread locker on and then put it back in and then tighten that one up, you know what I mean? Because it was too hard to kind of hold this thing up into place and, you know, put each bolt in without any help. So bolts that go into the subframe are 77 foot-pounds. So I have my torque wrench from Harbor Freight set to 78 foot-pounds, just in case. I'd rather it be a little bit tighter than a little bit too loose. So that's what I'm going to do it at. There. Uno más. All right, torque down, good to go. Don't forget the clear coat. All right, guys, now whenever I install these upper control arms and the coilovers as well, I don't want to just put a nut straight on there, and whenever I'm tightening it down, the nut is going to actually chew the paint up inside of here. So I'm going to put washers on all this stuff. The only washers that I have that are big enough will not fit, so I need to drill the center of this out so that it'll fit over that bolt. And voila, there you have it. Alright, so next up we have the steering knuckle that has to go on the car. The lower ball joint on these are trashed. I mean, I guess the ball joint isn't that bad, but the boot is definitely shot. But either way, I got new lower ball joints. So we got to get this ball joint off of here and put the new ball joint on. And if you've ever done this before, then you're aware that sometimes this can be a pain in the butt. But anyhow, I got to get that little snap ring right there. I don't know if you guys can see that because everything's just conveniently painted black. But I got to get that little snap ring off of there, and then theoretically this should just come out. It's probably going to take some persuading with a BFE, but yeah.
You said Mac 10 is the lick, West Side is the click. Can't get enough of this gangsta shit.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Come on! Are you kidding me? I learned a valuable lesson. That ball joint, brand new ball joint, but the boot's already ripped. I ripped the boot putting that one in. So on this one, what I did was I wrapped the living heck out of it with electrical tape so that, well, hopefully it didn't rip. So we'll see. I'm making a mess, man. Holy crap. OCD's kicking in. Nope, no rip. And I think it's all the way in. Yeah, that's the little groove to put that little lock ring in. So we're all the way in. Now put that lock ring on and lower ball joints are finished. This place is an absolute mess with me. This is all for me doing those damn ball joints. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, not all of it, but yeah, I'm going to pick up the garage really quick and then we'll move on to the next step. Oh, alright, well that's better. Anyhow, I got everything organized, and what's next? Oh, we got more bolts to clean. That's all done. These are the bolts for the forks that, obviously the short one is for here, that clamps it to the body of the coilover, and then this longer one is what passes through there, through the control arm, through the lower control arm. So the lower control arms are right here, and obviously, but if you didn't know, those bolt up right here, and we already got that bolt all nice and shiny. Oh, hey, there's our control arm. Alright, now we'll grab one of the coilovers. Hold on, where's the bolts? Got new bolts for these. Right here. These are our new bolts, and I'm gonna put washers on those as well. Some washers. And I'll set these right here so that they're ready to go. All right. Alright, so what I'm going to do now basically is repeat that exact same process but on the passenger side. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get everything tightened up to the torque specs, and then I'll give you guys a walk around. So I'll be back in a second. And I'm finished, so let's check it out. Alright, so here's the passenger side. Got everything all mounted up. Steering knuckle, the God. Now I'm drawing a blank. Hang on, I'll get it. Give me a second. Tie rod in, the new tie rod in. The forks on, the coil over, upper control arm. Everything is bolted down. Everything is tightened up. And you know what I was thinking? I don't know why it is that I put the thread locker and torque specs and everything on here. Like, it would have been fine just tightening it up like hand tight for now, because I'm just gonna put wheels on it to roll it around, but I'm still gonna take all this apart to put the axles in. So yeah, that's all right, no worries. So that side is finished. Here's everything all done up here. Now, like I said, dude, like, I don't like how silver or chrome or whatever you want to call it sits on this color. You know what I mean? Like, I like how it sits here on top of black, but I don't like how it sits on top of the brown that we have the car painted. So I am going to either do one of two things. I'll either be painting the washers black, or I'm gonna go and try to see if I can find some black nuts for all this stuff. Because I don't like how that sits. It's too light of a color to have silver or chrome sitting on top of it. But either way, everything's all bolted up nice and shiny. I wiped it all down with some of my little Windex wipes. Alright guys, that's basically it, man. That's not it for the weekend. I'm going to continue getting some progress done on this thing, but that's it for this episode. So once again, thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up or a little thumbs up or whatever size thumbs up you want to give it. And yeah, that's it, man. So peace out, and that's pretty much it. Bye.